Welcome to the interactive text series, where we will explore text modifiers and create several complex setups by combining various techniques. In part 1, we will create a stretch bounce effect, combine it with a wave animation, and set up an adaptive hitbox that adjusts to text changes. Open a new project and select the text tool. Click on the artboard and create a text layer. Modify the text. Hold Alt and move the origin to the center. Release Alt and use alignment tools to center the text on the artboard. Change the font name and size. You can use any font you like. In this lesson, we will focus on the capabilities of text modifiers. Click plus and create a new modifier. Click the inner plus and you will see the properties that can be modified. For example, choose position. You will see that the entire text changes, as the range effect is set to the full length of the text by default. If you adjust the range, you will notice that the Y position modification applies only to the characters within the range. Using offset, you can shift the range. With fall-off, you can soften the modifier's effect, creating a smooth transition within the range. You can further adjust the fall-off interpolation by going into the range settings. Change the curve and observe the effect. In the advanced settings, you can also change the range type. You can adjust the range strength. Choose a mode. Enable the exclude space option. Change the target to characters, words, or lines. You can also add multiple properties to a single modifier group. And combine several ranges within a modifier group. Now let's move on to a practical exercise and create a stretch effect on text with joystick control. Add a text modifier. Rename it. To achieve the stretching effect, we will modify the scale property. Increase scale Y. Set fall off to 50% by 50%. When adjusting the offset parameter, we see the desired stretch effect. However, since the origins are positioned at the bottom of the letters, they stretch upwards. I want the letters to stretch downward, so we need to adjust the origin position. We can do this using a modifier. Add the origin property. Adjusting the parameter immediately shows the effect. Set the value to 36. Soften the fall-off interpolation. We have achieved the desired stretch effect. Next, let's create a timeline for joystick control. Switch to animate mode. Rename the timeline. Animate the offset from -60% to 60%. The timeline is ready. Switch to design mode and create a new joystick. Enable Draw in World Space. Click on the X-axis and select the joystick timeline from the drop-down list. Increase the size to cover the text length. Move it lower. Enable the state machine and test the joystick. Next, create on and off states for the joystick. Create a timeline for joy on. Expand the range settings. Set the strength value to 100. Duplicate the timeline. Set the strength value to 0. Create a Boolean input to toggle the joystick state. Add states to the graph. Connect them with transitions. Set conditions. Enable the state machine and test the checkbox functionality. Next, let's create listeners and transitions for effect control on the artboard. Create a hitbox and reduce its opacity. Rename the layers. Select the group tool and create a tracker group. Add a colored ellipse to control tracker visibility. Select the hitbox and create a new listener. Change the user action to pointer move. Delete the set input. Add a line target. Click on the target and select the control tracker. The tracker follows the cursor. Now, bind the joystick to the tracker using handle source. The joystick changes values, but no changes are visible because we are not switching to the joy-on state. Select the listener and add input change. Set is active to true. Configure joystick deactivation when leaving the area. Duplicate the listener. Change the user action to pointer exit. Delete the align target. Set is active to false. The state machine works correctly. Let's configure transitions between states. Select the transition to joy on. Set duration to 300 milliseconds. Set interpolation. Select the transition to joy off. Set duration to 600 milliseconds. Configure elastic interpolation for the bounce effect. If you move quickly, transitions do not update properly, resulting in an incorrect effect. To improve usability, select conditions and enable Allow Exit during transitions. In the next step, we will add a color highlight effect. If you open the available properties for modification, you won't find color there. To implement the effect, go to the Joy timeline and duplicate the text layer. The animation is duplicated as well. Change the duplicate's color to green. Add the opacity property to the stretch modifier. Disable the lower text visibility to see the effect. You'll notice that the text is displayed only within the modifier's range, allowing colored text to appear over the white text. Set keyframes for the green text in joy on and joy off states. The color highlighting is configured. In the next step, we will add a wave effect to our setup. Disable the green text visibility. Add a new modifier. Rename it. Set the stretch offset to -100 to hide the effect in design mode. Add the position property to the wave modifier. Set the position value to -15. Set fall off to 50% by 50%. Adjust the fall off interpolation. Add another range. Configure it similarly to the first one. Create a wave timeline. Animate the offset from -100 to 100 for both ranges. Offset the ranges by half. Change the timeline type to loop and limit the work area. Set playback speed to 0.5. Create a new layer and add the wave timeline. Enable the green text. You'll notice the movement doesn't match because the wave animation also needs to be applied. Go to the text base and copy the wave modifier. Switch to the green text. Press Ctrl+V and paste the modifier. Set keyframes for offset properties and copy the animation from the prepared text. The wave effect is configured. In the final step, we'll set up an adaptive hitbox that adjusts to text changes. Select the hitbox and enable visibility. Choose the bone tool and create a bone. Add a transform constraint. Click on the target and select the text layer. Now the bone is linked to the text layer. Using the origin, you can move the bone along the text. Set origin Y to 50%. Duplicate the bone. Set origin X to 100%. Bind the hitbox points to the created bones. Change the run text to see the effect. The hitbox adjusts, and the effect retains its properties. However, if we enable the green text, it still shows the old run text. Let's create two states with two text variations and see them in action. Set keyframes for both run text layers. Duplicate the state and change the text value. Create a new layer and link the text states to see the entire setup in action. We've completed part 1 of the lesson. To continue this project and get access to the full lecture, join our interactive motion course. Visit our webpage to explore all the projects we'll create during the video lessons. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay updated with fresh Rive tutorials.